Well, hello there. Second take. Let's make sure nobody's coming. I did my first try, I did a super cringy intro, and then some dude rounded the corner and he caught me in the act, and it was fucking awkward. So yeah, that was shit. Let's hope that doesn't happen this time. Okay. So, I got closeout watch tonight, which means I have time, because I'm gonna stay up late anyways. So, I'm on this beautiful trail on a beautiful night, perfect walking weather. What am I gonna talk about today? Well, let's talk about my history, shall we? Let's do a little story time. So, this is concerning love. So, when I was... Okay. So, I was born in this one city. Then, like kindergarten year, our family moved to a different city. Town. It was like 1,000 people. And then we moved back to the original city after like 4 years. Now, I was brought up in a very religious family, and so I was very involved with my church. I made a lot of friends in my church, and yeah, that's where like I spent, like I didn't really hang out with school friends, I hung out with church friends. Because, yeah, I was a really, it's just how it worked. Okay, so in this church, there was this thing called Bible quizzing, where you basically just memorize a whole bunch of verses from the Bible, and then you do like competitive quizzing. You get like a buzzer thing, and you buzz it, and then the quizzer, the quiz master it's called, he stops asking the question, and then you like finish the question, because you have to finish it if you interrupt him, and then you have to answer it. So it was really fun. Like I was super good at it, and yeah, it was really fun, really competitive. Met a lot of people. But the point is, to compete, you have to practice a lot. And so we do like 2 practices every week, one on Wednesday and one on Sunday. And when I'd signed up, there was this girl who was already in it from a previous year. And so it was us 2 on a team. And so we practiced, we did a practice every Wednesday and Sunday with our quiz coach. And that is where the story begins, where I met this girl. And this was like early years. This was when I was in 4th grade or something. So we became friends quickly. I was a shy kid, but I made friends. Like, I warmed up to people after a certain amount of time, and then, they got to know the real me, which is, I don't know, I was a different kid back then. I was pretty energetic when I was with people I was comfortable with, and so I got comfortable with my team, the coach and my quiz partner, and we became pretty good friends, because we spent a lot of time with each other. And then I started liking her more than just as a friend. And I was a very unlearned kid, didn't know how to handle love. Well, love, as, most kids, I mean, it's like 4th grade, it's like your crush, And so I liked her, but I didn't give any hints, because I was very embarrassed, obviously. I told a couple of my best friends, and, them being my friends, they kind of like made hints and like embarrassed me in front of the girl, and that's not the point. The point is, I liked her for a super long time, on and off, because there were some pretty hot girls in my school at the time. And so like I had 2 major crushes between this girl from my church, but they were, like, she was the one who stayed with me for a long time in terms of, like, a crush. So, yeah, I liked this girl for, like, from 4th grade to, like, my sophomore year. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. There's some people coming up, so I'm gonna stop this video here, and then I'll see you in a second. Okay, so as I was saying, I liked this girl for a really long time. We're talking like 5 or 6 years of just liking and not saying anything. Yeah, I liked this girl a lot. I obsessed over her. And my friends, like, they told me all the time, like, you like this girl way too much. Like, we played, I found out that she played Clash of Clans, and my best friend at the time, still one of my best friends, but, yeah, he was like, dude, we should play Clash of Clans, and then I was like, oh, that's such a great idea, and, like, in my mind, I was thinking, like, I was interested in it, like, I wanted to play it, but also I was like, oh, this is the perfect chance. Me and Olivia, well, yeah, doesn't matter. Me and Olivia can play Clash of Clans together, and it'll be so fun. And so I got it, and, yeah, I joined her clan. It was, like, with her and a whole bunch of other people from our church, and so I joined it, and, then we would, so you know how it, like, has the chat thing for clan chat? We would, like, text on the clan chat for hours. Like, we'd just be on Clash for hours, just talking and clashing at the same time. So cringe, but I've got some good memories from it. So yeah, like, I did everything I could to, like, I'd just take every chance to talk to her without putting myself in, like, a position where I could be rejected. And so that was, like, a great way to do it. Play Clash, like, I can just talk to her all the time whenever she's on. I'll like request, and then that'll show her that I'm on, and then she'll donate me some troops, and then I'll say thank you, and then we can start a conversation. Like, fucking cringy ass methods. But yeah, so then, like, we did that for, like, years, and then Trivia Crack came out, and she told me that she played it, and then Voice Crack, and then she invited, I also played it, and then she, like, said, hey, we should play it together, like, we should, you know, verse each other. And so I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then me in my mind, I also knew, all right, bye, there's people. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so one thing that I didn't really like about talking to Olivia on Clash was that it's a public chat, and so we couldn't really, like, we'd have to, like, it's not like we said anything, like, bad stuff, but, I mean, we were fucking kids at the time, but we didn't really have the privacy that we wanted. At least that was what I was thinking, and that's what I thought she was thinking as well. So when she offered to play Trivia Crack, I was like, yes, this is the perfect opportunity. This means she really wants to talk to me, because it's, like, one-on-one, and so I was super excited. And so I jumped at the opportunity, and we did that for a while. And we also texted on Trivia Crack for a while, and we really didn't talk about much different stuff. But yeah, we honestly had some pretty personal conversations on Clash and Trivia Crack, which is funny. Normal people text on, like, messages or Instagram. Nope, we texted on Trivia Crack and Clash of Clans, baby. So yeah, so the point is, okay, so we did that a lot, But then we'd also, so then come like when I'm 13 or whatever, late middle school years, we have youth, like how some churches have like the youth group and they meet up on Friday. Yeah, we had that. And so we'd meet up every Friday, and that was just another day out of the week to see her. But the thing was, I was really like very hesitant to initiate conversation with her in person. It was weird because like I love to talk to her on Clash, but like when it came to in person, it was a whole different environment. So it was like it's the same person but different because we're in a different context and different setting, and there's people all around, and like what'll people think if we're talking one-to-one? Because I really didn't want people to know that I liked her, because I was afraid of her knowing for some reason. Who knows? But yeah, so like I was really awkward around her in person. And yeah, but then actually on like Sunday nights, I used to sit by her during the service, that was probably like the peak of my happiness with her. Like we actually sat by each other during the service and we talked before the service. Those were good times. And then that stopped, and I was like super sad. And then I had this ritual where my mom would force us to come to church super early, so I'd have nothing to do before service. And so I'd sit in the back right corner of the sanctuary during music practice. And then she was on it. And then when she finished, she would come there and then sit next to me. And that made me pretty happy. Like, I didn't initiate things with her, but I really wanted to. So, like, throughout all the years that I liked her, I tried to find as many ways as possible to make myself available so that she would come and talk to me. Such an indirect, cowardly, bitch-ass way to do it, but that's the way I did it. And so, yeah. Then, like, this whole time, my excuse as to why I didn't tell her how I felt was because, if I tell her, we won't be able to do anything because, we were both young and didn't have, like, a driver's license or a source of income or anything. So it's like, what are we gonna do? Like, tell each other that we like each other and then just, like, go on? Like, so that was my thought process. And there was also this weird, like, we were, like, our church is very, very traditional. And, like, we're talking, like, no dating till 18. Like, you can't kiss her till marriage. Just kidding, that's an exaggeration, but you get the point. And so, yeah, there was just that resistance as well. And so I was really hesitant to tell her anything. And then I finally got a job, but I still didn't have a car or anything, but I did have a job. And so I was like, all right, you know what? I've waited too long. Let me just tell her that I like her. And so I did. After one music practice, she came and sat by me, and I was like, Olivia, so, oh man, I don't remember the exact wording that I used, and I don't want to because it was fucking awkward and cringe as fuck. But it was basically along the lines of, I like you, and do you want to, like, hang out sometime and start dating, basically. And then she was like, she sat really uncomfortably in her seat. She was looking straight ahead, and she said something like, that's not really how it works with our family, like really awkwardly uncomfortable. And I was like, what do you mean? And then she was like, I just don't think my parents would let me, or something, some bullshit like that. And then, yeah, I was like, I asked some more questions, like, because it wasn't really making sense to me. And then I was just like, okay. And then things got really awkward between us after that, obviously. And then we kind of forgot about it, and then we got in this like weird friendship kind of thing where we were just cool with each other, I guess. We didn't talk to each other as much as we did before, but I was more outgoing to her, I think. And like she seemed to have interest in me, like more interest in me than before. I told her that I liked her, and it was this weird dynamic. Like she was like kind of a leader of the youth group for like organizing the room. Like she just organized and lead a whole bunch of stuff that went on in youth. And like I would always be the first person she'd ask to do stuff. And yeah, it was me in my head at the time. I was thinking like, oh yes, this is a great opportunity for me to see her and interact with her more. I'm so happy that she's asking me to do stuff. That means she must like me. And then like she kept asking me to do stuff, and like it was like more more super easy stuff to do by herself, and like stuff she definitely did not need my help for. And I would just do it without hesitation because I wanted to be her knight in shining armor. I can do this for you. And I don't know why she did it. I don't know if it was like some kind of power thing, like she wanted power over me, or it was just an excuse for her to talk to me. I don't know. But I opened my eyes to it after a while, and I was like, all right, this is fucked up. I don't need to like, what's the phrase? Do her bidding or whatever, like with everything she says. Like maybe if it's reasonable and it's something that she can't do or she's too busy to do. But like if it's some bullshit, no, I'm not gonna like be her fucking serving hand. And so there was this one day where we were doing a bake sale or something for a fundraiser, and it was at the end, so it was when like people had already paid, and now we had brought the products to the church and we're passing them out to people, and it was like the last one and it was on the table, the last thing that had to be passed out to somebody or like sent, because like people were all dispersed through the church, and so you had to find them and give them to them. And it was like the last thing. It was for this old grandma, and Olivia was standing there, and then I was walking by to like the water fountain or something. Then she was like, "Oh, Josh, can you go take this and deliver it to Sister Bennett?" And I was like, I just stopped and paused for a second, and I looked at her and I was like, I think you can do that. Just like kind of passive aggressive and like just not showing amusement or happiness or any kind of like suck up, like simpy nice guy emotions. No, I was just like, I think you can do that, Olivia. And then she was like, because up until this point I had said yes to everything she said. It was like she like commanded me almost. And so this came like a shock to her. And so when I said, I think you can do it, she was like, no, I can't, or something, some weird denial of it. And then I was like, yeah, you can. And then I just walked away. And I can only imagine the face that she had. Like, it's not like some huge confrontation that we had, but it was like just a shift in the matrix. And yeah, that was the start of the downfall of my liking for her. Like, I still had feelings for her, but after like the main love and emotion had passed, logic and rationality finally came into my head, and I was like, why do you like this girl? Like, she's not, you put her on a pedestal, and she's not even that good looking. Like, she was like kind of chubby, very average white girl looking, and like not even the greatest personality, very like reserved. Like, not that that's a bad thing, I'm reserved, but like reserved in like you feel like she looks at you in a judgmental way, kind. Like, reserved in like she doesn't want to talk to you because she thinks she's better than you. There we go. And so like I asked myself, why do you like her? And then I just realized there is no reason to like this girl. Like, she's very average in every way. And so that was this, like, it took me a while to accept that, because I had liked her for the past 5 years, and so those feelings don't just go away. But they did eventually. And the moment they did, like, I started liking, the moment those feelings left, I liked a different girl in the church, more attractive, more friendly, and all that stuff, and just more likable, a lot more attractive, and everything changed. Like, I was more social. It was so weird. I started hanging out with like people I didn't usually hang out with in the youth group. I started hanging out with a lot more girls in the youth group, and I was like a lot more cool with them. And I felt way more confident. Like, I don't know if it was just the social energy. Like, I gained so much social energy after I stopped liking Olivia, and it just came out in like confidence and just wanting to talk to people and not really feeling awkward about like with girls. And this manifested in like talking to the girls at church. And there was this counselor in my high school. I was a junior at the time, and it was like a school counselor in practice. Like, she was preparing to be a school counselor, and she had this job where it was at the AP testing at the end of the year, and she was like the test proctor, and I missed a test. Yeah, you should not miss an AP test. That's a very big deal that you don't want to miss, but I missed it because I like slept in or something. I was so fucking stupid in high school, but it worked out well because I had to make up the test. And so our actual school counselor, he took me into his office, and then he just put me in this room, and then he brought her in, and he introduced her to me, and then he was like, all right, she will be like conducting this test for you or whatever, so yeah, go at it. And then he left, and it was just me and her in her tiny office. And like I had done a couple of the AP tests before, and she was so hot. Like, she was smoking hot. And I was like, before I had like thought, man, if I could get a chance to like just one-on-one with her, like, that would be the best thing. And it happened, because like I missed the test, and then she was my personal test proctor. And so it was the math test, which I'm really good at math. And so like I was finishing all the portions of the test early, but she still had to like give me the allotted amount of time. So I'd just be like, I'm done. And then she'd be like, okay, that's fine. We'll just have to wait for the time to pass. And so I started conversation with her. We talked for like over an hour and a half of combined time. It was like one of the greatest experiences I've ever had with talking to a girl. And at the end, like, I even told her, like, not exactly realistic, like, I was a junior in high school and she was like 23 years old, in like employed by the school, so like that professionally can't work. But I told her that, like, so cringe, she was the hottest school counselor that I'd ever seen. Yeah, really cringe and like really weird, but And then she said something like, thanks, but I don't think that would really work, or something like that. Like, totally get it. I mean, she probably just saw a really horny high school kid wanting to fuck her, but, which was true. But yeah. And then there was this other girl, pretty attractive at my church, and I had become like way more social, as I've said. And so she started getting an interest in me. Like, we'd like all the church people, or all the youth people would go out to eat after Sunday night church. And then, like, she would sit by me. That never happened before in my life. And then one night, this one friend of hers was like, her name, did Josh ask you out yet? And then she was like, no. And we were sitting right next to each other. And then that was weird. But then I called her that night after we had both went home, and we talked, and I was like, all right, you want to go out sometime? And then she was like, yeah, I'd love to. And then we kind of went on this date. And then I proceeded to tell her that I don't really want to date you, because I just don't think it would work out for reasons that I won't tell you. But it was like, that was like the last thing I told her at the end of the date. But the rest of the thing was like a date, pretty much. Like, it was weird. But it was because at the time I became an atheist. I still am. And yeah, so like, she's very religious, and like, she's also very like close-minded. She's also kind of a Karen, but she's nice to her friends, I guess, which is why I tolerated her. But I knew I would not want to stay with her, and I knew that I did not want her as a mate, and so I said that. But it was still like a date. So yeah, that was story time of my experience with girls. Not much at all. Still a virgin at 20 years old. Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about that. I'm not really ashamed of it, because I think if I had chosen, I would not be a virgin if I had made different decisions. Like, there have been opportunities where things could have led to other things, but I just didn't want to, because I didn't want to. But, you know, my masculine side also kind of feels ashamed that I'm still a virgin. Like, oh man, I can't get girls. But that's beside the point. The point is, I had, what's it called? Like, I had a dream girl syndrome, or whatever it's called. Like, where there's just one girl for you. Soulmate syndrome. Yeah, I had that. Don't do that. Don't waste 5 years of your life liking one girl. Like, you should never like a girl. Like, the time that you realize you like somebody and the time that you actually tell them should be very short. I mean, I don't really feel like I'm super qualified to say this, because I'm still super young, but like, life is too short to waste time not telling somebody that you like them. There's this lyric from On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons. I can't remember what exactly it is, but it's like something around, like, meaning that it would be a shame if you died and somebody didn't know that you loved them, or something like that. And, you know, that might be a little unrealistic for most people, but it's true. Like, if you like somebody, you should tell them. Because why? Why not? Like, I still need to practice this, but like, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, they'll reject you, but at least now you don't have to waste time thinking about them. Like, you probably still will, but you'll get over it. And rejection is okay. I have not experienced much rejection in my life, because I haven't tried much, and I'm working on that. That's like one of my major weaknesses. But rejection is not a bad thing. Well, it is. You don't want to experience it, but discomfort leads to growth. And another thing, don't fucking simp for girls. They lose respect for you. It's just not a good look. Like, I'm not one of those guys that thinks, like, the man should have 100% power over the woman. Like, yeah, I think that the man should have generally more authority over a woman, just because I think that's, I don't know much about this, but, like, naturally I just think that's how it works. Like, I think men are just more suited to it, and women want it that way. But women definitely should not have complete control over you. Because, like, how humiliating is that? I never, like, you gotta open your eyes. If you're in a relationship like that, open your eyes. Like, step back and think how your relationship is, what the dynamic is. Because that's not healthy. And you may think you're happy, like, you may think she likes you more because you're doing everything that she asks, and, you know, you're her biggest supporter and friend, but a friend is not somebody who says yes for everything. Somebody who supports you and cares about you is somebody that will tell you what they're thinking, even when they know you may not like it. And yeah, it's just a big waste of time to simp and love a girl for an extended period of time without telling them. Yeah, it's damaging. Like, thinking and, like, fantasizing about one girl for, like, years at a time and not doing anything about it, it just, like, at least this was the case for me, it makes you think, like, fantasize things that aren't true. Like, it makes you think, like, how do I say this? Like, you will fantasize about what they're thinking about you. Like, it's just not good. I don't know how to say it. It's just not good. Just let them know. Just tell them. And if they don't feel the same way, that's okay. They just may not prefer you. Like, it could literally be your hair color or something. Like, girls have preferences, guys have preferences, and you don't want to waste time wondering about those preferences when they could not be in your favor. So, yeah, just rip the Band-Aid off. Let your feelings be known and live a happy life. Thank you for watching. You're probably not going to be here at the end of the video because I ramble a lot and this is a long video and I'm probably very unengaging. But that's okay. So, yeah, I'll see ya. Peace.